Quick video on different processes for kniving. First, we'll start with creating a new drawing like we did from your spec sheet. We'll start by drawing the spine of the surfboard. Put in a point, and then we're going to put in a length relative to the last point. The measurements from your spec sheet. I've just clicked a button that should show all of your drawing. Unfortunately, it's off the side there a bit. So we'll just move that across using the move tool. And so that should represent the spine of the surfboard. Now we'll start by drawing the measurements off the side of the surfboard, or the circumferences that you have listed. The first one being 412 millimeters long. I converted your imperial to metric. Now I'm moving this shape from the midpoint by pressing M on the keyboard to the end of the spine by pressing V after selecting the shape. There's tool prompts down the bottom left hand corner of the screen. Then we'll move the circumference measurement down the spine of the board off your spec sheet. The first one is at minus 300 millimeters. So now we've got one of the circumferences laid out. Then we repeat the process for the rest of them on this sheet. And the last one was for the fins, I believe. It's the same again. Select the shape, right click to finish selecting, press M to choose a point to move it from, and V for a point to move it to. Select the shape again and move it up relative to its position. Now, I'm not sure about what kind of radius you want on the end of the bags, so I just made something up. Obviously you'll find something more specific if you use this method. Now I'm just moving the circle, which has vertices, by pressing V to the vertex that is on the end of the line that we've drawn for the spine of the board. And I'm copying that shape and moving it to the end, assuming that they're both the same radius. Now we want to create the edge profile for the board. So I'm using a polyline with arcs. I'm just going to map through the different vertices on the ends of those circumference measurements. You see I'm alternating the different measurements and locking onto vertices as I go by pressing V. So now we've more or less got the profile of a bag as far as I know, not having actually dealt with the process myself. And now we just clean up the construction lines. So now you're left with mostly the representation of a board bag. Now you've got the circle here, which needs to be broken up so that we don't have the full portion of that. So we'll break the shape is what I'm doing here, and I'm breaking it at the vertices or the ends of those other arcs. And we cut away the excess and you're left with the piece that we want. Now we join the shapes together so you get one contiguous path. And that should result in a finished profile once you finish down the other end. Now here I was just messing around with trying to alleviate the funny sort of divot there, but I'm sure you can refine the process if you choose to go down this path. Now here I've brought in a drawing that I found just of a profile of a surfboard online, and we're going to set up to cut it. So I've just selected a master group. So ideally you'll have master groups set up which contain feed rates that you wish to cut the particular materials with. Tell the machine where to cut it as far as height in reference to the tabletop. We use the baseboard surface mode, give it some dimensions for the material and a clearance height, and you're ready to go. Here I'm lining up the knife on the material to a position where I'd like to start the job from. I'll do a function 7 on the keypad when I'm in position. Now that we've set that, the job is ready to run and cut. So I've cut the profile out of cardboard, easy as that. So one cut profile. Now this is a demonstration of how you might be able to use your existing jigs to actually bring in the lines or the profiles. This method is using digitizing. So you perform a function 70 on the keypad and just jog the machine around your existing jig. As you can see, I've just strapped an Allen key to the side of the head. You can use a pen or a laser pointer or something. And as I'm going, I've done a function 70 and I said I'd like to digitize in 2D. I'm just jogging them around and doing a function 0, insert point after, and you can see on the larger screen that it's mapping out that shape as I go. And digitizing just uses straight line segments, so the more points that you add in, the greater the accuracy your curves will be. And again, just jogging around to each point, doing a function 0, and it keeps adding in the points. This is by far the easiest method if you have an existing jig already and you're not drawing something from scratch.
There is also a function that you can try and use that digitizes in arcs, which may yield better results for you.
Now once you're finished, you want to perform a function 9 to end the shape, which will close the shape up and join the last point and the first point. Then do a function 99 to exit digitizing. And you can see there in green the profile I've created. Now I've turned it to red so you can pick the difference, red being the one that was just digitized. overlaying them, you can see just how close an approximation that was in that amount of time. Now, to finesse it a little bit, you can adjust different straight line segments if you want to add a little more shape, but the sort of level that we're talking about would be fairly indistinguishable. So now I've got my red shape that was digitized. I'll cut that again on the knife. I've just given the machine a new bit of material, given it a function 7. My Z settings for this job are already set, and that will knife out the digitized shape. Now here's showing comparison, the black shape being the stenciled profile that I cut first, overlaying the two of them. You can see just how close they are. So in the span of a couple of minutes, I've approximated that shape and cut it out.